interact with their environment and with other organisms. So, lahat ng organism experiences complex relationship with other organisms. So, ito yung ecology. So, what is an ecosystem? So, if we say ecosystem naman, this comprises a confined environment and all the organisms in it and their reaction to it and to each other. So, an ecosystem is consist of a community of organism together with their physical environment. So, ecosystem can be of different sizes and can be marine, aquatic, or terrestrial. So, human ecology. So, human ecology focuses on human populations, their social organization, the characteristic of the environments they inhabit, and the technologies they employ. So what is the aim of this human ecology? Okay, study the interaction between beings and their social, physical, and biological environment. So our human ecology studies the relationship between people and their social and physical environment. So it examines disease, health, lifestyle, and the environment together and not in isolation. So example of this is eradication of a disease may significantly disturb an ecosystem and create more trouble than the disease itself. So another example is disaster that have occurred when irrigation projects for arid zones have led to the rapid multiplication of disease vectors, thus increasing the burden of transmissible disease. Another example of our human ecology is when forests have been cleared for the cultivation of crops and severe erosion of topsoil has resulted. When the aggregation of industrial plants in densely populated areas has seriously compromised air quality with a consequent increase in chronic respiratory disease. So for public health problems, increasingly global and complex, especially environmental and social threats arising from the global environment changes driven by rapid industrialization, popular growth, overconsumption of natural resources, and the inappropriate use of our technology. So, large proportions of the life supporting resources of the ecosystem, this is degraded and used unsustainably. So, can human ecology help explain diseases? For para sa inyo, uh, can human ecology help explain diseases? Anyone? Yes, Luis.
So, good afternoon, ma'am. Yes, I believe that human ecology can help explain diseases. As we have discussed or we have learned earlier po, ma'am, we have defined human ecology as yung pag-define po sa social, even the mental and physical behaviors of person. So, I believe that through human ecology, we would be able to help also assess in the community kung ano ba yung mga behavior which affects our health, and also it goes or boils down also sa pag-identify ng mga diseases po.
Yes, true. Thank you, Luis. Anybody? Sino yun? Yes, Earl.
So, good morning, ma'am. So, regarding po sa question, can human ecology help explain diseases? Well, actually, ma'am, yes po, because human ecology of the disease is concerned with the ways of human behavior for two reasons po, ma'am. Either with the sila mag-interact sa cultural or social economic and conditions in environment po na in order to produce and prevent diseases to people and from the people po.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that's true, Earl. Anybody? Yes, Kaylee.
Good afternoon po, ma'am. Just like what Mr. Pelarco and Mr. Amo just said, human ecology can help explain diseases po. So since it talks about the interdependence or the relationship between the people or the environment or something nature, um, uh, it would kung ano po yung behavior ng people would like for example po the open pit mining, example ko lang po to, open pit mining, syempre po human activities po yan, so it would affect people po, it would affect people, tapos pwede rin po siyang makakos ng disease sa mga tao. So yun po, it would the environmental conditions in order to either produce or to prevent that certain disease to the people and from the other people po. So yun po yung
Yes, thank you, Kaylee. So that's true. So sige, i-ano natin yung question of how is ecology related? Okay, how is ecology related to a disease? So how is ecology related to a disease? Anybody? Anybody from the class? Wala? Anybody from the class? Sino yun? Yes, Jinlei. Yes, Jinlei?
Marinig po ba ako, ma'am?
Yes.
Ecology and disease, ma'am, is related in a in a way that people, how they live, where they live, when they live, can affect directly and indirectly which diseases they have makuha nila, ma'am, and how they manage it. Depende po sa time. For example po, back in the death plague, yun po. Nakuha po siya, like, hindi po maganda ang sanitary ng mga tao doon. So, madali po siyang nag-infect sa ibang tao. So, in ecology, ma'am, we study how people live po. So, that could explain why or how diseases could infect other people easily and how to assess it, just like Louis said earlier, ma'am.
Yes, Jinlei. Sige, thank you. Anybody may gusto pang mag-share? Okay. Yes, Luis?
So if ang question naman po, ma'am, is how does ecology different ba, ma'am, sa diseases, or how is it related sa diseases? So di ba, ecology, we all know that it is the interrelation between the organisms in a particular place or habitat. So if we look po, ma'am, sa ating society or community, if people also have a proper way of how they handle themselves or how they treat themselves and how to interact properly with other people, then they would also be able to I ma ayos, the term is parang ma-restrict or ma-prevent ang mga diseases po. So with proper interaction with the other organisms also, then we could be able to help also ourselves to know how to prevent those diseases po. And di ba ang diseases is also defined as yung mga infections that caused by microorganisms, and they also live because of the the interaction also with other organisms. So that is the relation, I think po, ma'am, between the ecology and the disease po.
Yes, very good, Louis. So anybody pa? Yes, Feby.
Uh, Regarding the question niyo po, ma'am, for how ecology is related to diseases, we all know that ecology is the study of, it examines diseases and the lifestyle of humans and also our environment. So it is also concerned with the mechanisms and the patterns of or chain of infection between the host and the pathogen. So host po tayo. So for example po, ma'am, malalaman po natin na how this specific pathogen or infection affect the population in the community po, ma'am.
Yes, yes. That's true, Feby. So, ecology is included doon yung the pathogen, the environment, and the host. So, ecology is the study as we discussed nga kanina. Ecology is human ecology. Okay, is a concern with the ways of human behavior. Okay, sa ating environment. So as we go on, we will discuss how us as a host, pathogen, and the environment. Okay. So health is seen as a state of balance between human beings and their environment. So for human ecology, this is the key to develop this approach to health and health promotion. So public health. So public health plus other sectors will create social and environmental condition conducive to health. Okay, so public health community should lead in building strong partnership and to be in the forefront of promoting population health as key criterion of sustainable development. So yun yung gagawin natin next sem. So we will promote public health. Okay, we will promote health promotion, health education sa ating community. So the demography, this is the scientific study of human populations, the health and healthcare needs of a population cannot be measured or met without the knowledge of its size and characteristic. So ngayon, when we will be conducting our community next after midterm, so madali na lang, especially with this demography kasi sa community usually meron na tayong mga nurses, mga midwives sa LGU, okay, na kumukuha ng mga data gathering ng ating community. So magiging hands-on din tayo doon with regards to data gathering ng ating mapipiling community. So it is a knowledge. So it health, okay, health education, okay. So very important and yun ang gagawin natin, okay. So example of this demography is the number of a very old people in a population. So gagawin nyo ito class actually pag nandun na tayo sa community, itong mga ito is we will have an application. So for example, the number of very old people in a population depends on the number of birth 8 or 9 decades earlier and risk of death at successive ages throughout the intervening period. So the number of births in a population ito naman is depends on the current pattern of family building. And also on the number of women at risk of reproduction. So similarly, the number and causes of death are strongly influenced by the age structure. So the Philippines has the second largest population in Southeast Asia. So Indonesia is the first. So second tayo, Philippines. We are the second most populated, okay, country in the Southeast Asia. So the age structure of the Philippines population remains relatively young, with 32% of the populations belonging to age 0 to 14 years or children, and 63% to working age population. So over the years, the population base of the country is slowly declining, while the youth and working age population is expanding. So ayan, so as you can see, there is a change in age structure. So in 1960, okay, age group 0 to 14, nasa 46%. In the 2015, 32. And sa susunod na 2045, nasa 21%. Okay, so why do you think na sa ngayong generation, okay, or sa 2045 mas mababa na ang ating age group 0 to 14, mas mataas ng 15 to 64? Yes, Jinli.
In my opinion po, ma'am, we are seeing a meron pong trend ng mga ngayong generation po na parang ayaw nang magkaanak, ayaw na magpamilya kasi for example, meron ng masyado nang mahal ang bilihin, masyado nang mahal mabuhay ngayon sa Pilipinas. Parang
So parang ayaw mo nang mabuhay, Jinli, kasi mahal mabuhay sa Pilipinas. Ganun ba yun?
Parang ayaw din nila mag-experience ng mga anak nila na magkaroon ng mahirap na buhay po. Parang ganun po yung parang mindset po ngayon. Marami pong mental health po na rates na tumataas na po, yung mga depression po. Tapos sobrang dami na pong ganun po.
Yes, anyone pa? Bakit do you think may ganitong trend na sa future, konti na lang ang 0 to 14 years old? Bakit kaya? Bakit kaya? Yes, John Arvin.
I think po sa lalo na sa panahon ngayon, yung mga kabataan mas pipiliin nilang yung kabataan ngayon which is magiging parents sa susunod na generations. Mas pipiliin na lang nila na wag magkaroon ng anak considering the situation sa buong mundo na ang dami ng tao tapos ang daming mga parents na nahihirapang magpalaki ng anak nila. So it would be much more ideal na hindi mag-anak lalo na kung hindi mo talaga kaya, hindi lang sa financial aspect, lalo na sa mga sa bilang tao na kilala mo sarili mo na masasabi mo na hindi mo kayang magpalaki ng anak ng maayos kung kung naglulot man yan childhood trauma or whatever. So, lalo na ang awakening ng mga tao ngayon sa ganyang bagay na may mga realizations na hindi ka talaga pwedeng, mamamatay ka na lang na hindi ka magiging magulang. And that would be, acceptable, parang acceptable na yon para sa kanila. So, by the time na umabot na parents na sila, mas pipili na lang nila wag mag-anak or kung gusto man nila, mag-a-adapt na lang, lalo na nahihirapan na rin ng ibang tao magpalaki ng anak, adapt na lang, ganun na lang.
Yes, true. Awaken na ang mga tao ngayon. So, very, very aware na tayo ng situation, or meron na tayong knowledge. Actually, meron ng knowledge. Meron ng knowledge kung gaano kahirap. Okay, gaano kahirap ang mabuhay ngayon. Ni Jinli, mahirap pa buhay ngayon. So, very much educated na tayong nowadays, lalo na sa ngayong generation. So yes, marami pa ang nagtataas ng kamay. Sino Yes, Miko.
Hello, ma'am. Ano po ulit ang question?
So mamaya ka na ulit sumagot pag alam mo na ang question. Okay, so may iba pa. Earl. Yes, Earl.
Good afternoon po, ma'am. So, as we can see in the data sa screen po, changing the age structure in the Philippines. So, in the age group of 0 to 14 po, throughout the years, nagmaliit na yung mga age nila because we as millennials, nag-realize na tayo na having a pregnancy is like hard po, ma'am, to raise a child. So, in order nga para mapigilan ang pagmarami ng population, ma'am, na nag-realize tayo kung gaano kahirap ang pagsilang ng bata as Kuya Visto said. Then although may mga teenagers din po ngayon, ma'am, na nag-commit ng teenage pregnancy, but as the internet grows po, ma'am, parang ginaspread na ng awareness ang internet na kung paano yung mga disadvantages na nung maging anak po, ma'am, yung may anak po. So in the next few years po, ma'am, naging maliit na po yung age group ng 0 to 14 because we have now realized na mahirap ang pag-raise ng anak po, ma'am.
Yes, so hopefully, okay, ma-internalize, ma-realize niyong lahat ang sinabi ni Earl. Okay, na mahirap ang buhay, so kailangan niyong mag-aral ng mabuti. Tama?
Yes po, ma'am. And additionally po, yung sa internet po, ma'am, parang ginaspread awareness din po yung ng mga pregnancy po, ma'am.
Yes, true. Yes, Pearl. Yes, Pearl. You are raising your hand. Wala, Pearl? Wala, Pearl. You are, yes, Roan.
Hello po, ma'am. Marinig lang po ako.
Yes.
So, for me po, Another factor po nga na considered is yung lifestyle ng mga ng mga tao din po dahil rin sa panahon, naapektuhan yung kanilang health. And then, yun nga po yung sabi ng mga iba na dahil rin po sa internet, lalo po tayong naging aware, or lalo po naging aware yung mga tao kung ano nga ba yung mga disadvantages ng yung about sa panganak or pagkakaroon ng pamilya na hindi pa ready yung isang tao. And then, yun nga po, lalo tayong naging educated na sila dahil nga po sa mga information na makikita na lang po sa internet. Yun lang po.
Yes, thank you, Rowan. So, masyado nang aware ang ngayong generation. So, ganun yun. Awareness. Okay, awareness. So, next is demography. Okay, this is the science of vital social statistics. Okay, like marriages, birth, deaths of the population. So, this is statistical study, okay, of population, especially of human being. Okay, this is the statistical and mathematical study of the size, the composition, okay, ng ating human population and how these features change over time. So there are 3 features of our demographic profile. Okay, so we have the demographic features, the physical infrastructure, and the social feature. So the 3 features, okay, first is the demographic features. So this includes population, okay, population, tayo is within the community. So population, the number of males, the females, the households, okay. So population density, this is the number of person per hectare. O, di ba may ganun? Population density, the number of person per hectare. Next is the source of power. Okay, under yan sa democratic feature yun. The source of power, power supply. Okay, the communication services. This includes media facilities such as TV and radio. So land use. So this is categorized as residential, commercial, industrial, and agriculture. Kapag nasa community na kayo, okay, pag sinabing kunan nyo ng demographical profile, ang community na assigned sa inyo, so please take note of this. Okay, so please take note of this. So next is for the physical infrastructure. So the road works. So types, okay, so concrete ba, asfalto ba, gravel ba ang road nila. So this is the length of roads and the presence of farm to market roads. So transportation. So that's included. So ano ba ang mode of transportation within the community? Jeep ba? Tricycle ba? May bus ba? Okay, so water supply. So ano ba, saan ba sila kumukuha ng tubig? So sources such as sa batis, di ba? Batis. So deep well, okay, bomba, chlorinated water supply. So next is the social feature. Okay, so this includes the health status, okay, health status ng ating community, okay, and the health facilities and services. So with the health status, so the 10 leading cause of mortality and morbidity, infant mortality rate, and the number and percentage of malnourished children from ages 0 to 6 years old. So, iti-take note nyo yan if ever nasa community na tayo. Okay, so for the health facilities and services, presence ng hospitals, lying-ins, clinics, the location and the services offered, and personnel. So, ngayon, halos lahat naman ngayon kahit baryo-baryo na, okay, meron na tayong mga health facilities. May lying in. Okay, so hindi na mahirap ngayon kasi ang LGU natin is naglalagay na ng mga health professionals, okay, kahit sa baryo. Okay, so social features, this also includes the toilet facilities. Okay, saan ba sila, saan ang CR nila o ano ba? Okay, so the garbage collection and disposal. So dito sa city, okay, sa atin may nagko-collect sa atin dito sa city. So sa community na pupuntahan natin, okay, so aalimin natin so ang kanilang garbage collection and disposal. Okay, next is education. Okay, education, presence of academic institution, schools or universities. So sources of demographic data. So sino-sino ba ang kumukuha nun? Saan ba natin malalaman, okay? Ang mga data na yun, saan natin ma-access? At sino-sino ang nagko-collect doon? Okay? So we have survey from this is from National Household Targeting System or the NHTS and the Community-Based Health Information System. Okay, so meron din tayong continuing population registers and other records and registration system. So sources of data of health. So vital registration records. So this is according to RA 3753 or the Civil Registry Law. Okay. So this is the registration of birth, deaths to local registrar. So sa ating city health officer, sa ating city health office natin makukuha. So this RA 3753 is the law on registry of civil status. The problems included, okay, yung mga under registration, okay, maraming cases especially sa ating mga malalayong community na, okay, may mga hindi pa naisama or hindi pa na-register. Okay, so mga unreported birth or unreported death. So yun yung mga these are the problems, okay, sa ating data. Okay, yung mga under registration and unreported birth and unreported death. So weekly reports from field health personnel based on RA 3573. Okay, this is the law on the reporting of notifiable diseases. So this RA 3573 mandates that all individuals and health facilities, okay, na kailangan i-report lahat ng notifiable diseases. Okay, kailangan i-report ang lahat ng notifiable diseases to kahit to national and local health officials. Okay, kahit sa barangay lang, kailangan i-report. Okay, so among infectious diseases listed ng ating World Health, this includes kahit yung dengue, measles, so kailangan i-report yon. So kailangan i-report yon for data gathering. Okay, so report to provincial and duly health office. So hindi na ito masyadong problema ngayon kasi nga gaya ng sabi ko, madami na tayong naka-employed na medical workers, especially sa mga malalayong baryo. Okay, madami nang na-employed ang ating government. So this midwife report, so under the supervision of the nurses. So yun sila yung umiikot-ikot sa mga bahay-bahay at nagtatanong-tanong, nagkumukuha ng data. So sila yun. So report within 24 hours for measles or polio. So pag meron sa baryo nyo or sa community nyo, okay, ng outbreak ng measles or polio. So, you should report it sa inyong, kahit sa inyong local officers lang, okay, within 24 hours. For tetanus, severe and acute diarrhea, HIV, and AIDS. So, report within a week. So, population census should have interval, accurate estimation. Okay, so individual health record or family record. So, this includes the birth certificate, school records. So, sa barangay, meron na tayong barangay health clinic. So, sila ang nag-gather ng ating ng mga records. Okay, this employment records, okay, health center records, hospital records, health facility logbooks. And sa publication, okay, marami ring napapublish with regards sa health, okay, maraming publish na. So, vital statistics. So, vital statistics, 34, 36, 24, 36. Ganun ba yon? So, when we say vital statistics sa ating demography and public health, this refers to the data gathered from the systematic study of vital events such as the birth, the deaths, illnesses, marriages, divorce, separation, adoptions, and annulment patterns. So, mahirap din. Mahirap din ang trabaho ng mga data gatherer. Tama ba? Data gatherer sa ating mga local barangay. Okay, kasi kailangan nilang kunin yung mga birth, death, illness, marriages, divorces, separation, adoption, di ba? Kahit separation and annulment. So, kailangan nilang i-take note yun. Okay, so this is the statistics of disease and death, indicate the state of health of the community and the success or failure of health work. Actually, naging active itong ating mga na-deploy sa ating mga health practitioners sa ating barangay noong time na nagko-COVID. So, pag buong or halimbawa may isang na COVID sa inyo, so sila itong nangungulit, tumatawag every day with regards to the health status. Okay, health status mo or ng buong family nyo. So, mahirap din yung trabaho nila. Okay, so this used as indicators of the health status for a group or a whole community. So, yun yung vital statistics. So, morbidity and mortality indicate the state of health of a community and how successful or unsuccessful are its health services. So, vital statistics are conventionally numerical records. Okay, these are numerical records. Okay, these are numerical records, okay, na kailangan sa community, okay, na kailangan sa community so that the health and the growth of the community may be studied. Okay, may be studied kung ano ba ang kulang, saan ba nagkulang ang mga health practitioners within the community. So, vital statistics or ang data is very, very important. So, the common vital and health statistical indicators. So, number one is the fertility rate. Fertility rate. So, if we say fertility rate, this is the data related to the fecundity or capacity to procreate. Okay, if we say fecundity, okay, so i-research nyo what's the meaning of this fecundity. This is the ability, okay, the ability or ang capacity ng na gumawa or bumuo, procreate. Okay, so fertility rate. Okay, so under the fertility rate, you have the general fertility rate, the birth rate. So, the birth rate. So, 'di ba? Yan yung mga information na kailangan sa community. So, if we say crude birth rate. So, this is the death trends. Okay? This is the death trends. The crude death rate. So, this measures the rate of deaths for every 1,000 people in a given population. Okay, so this is every death, okay, for every 1,000 people in a given population. So mahirap kasi kailangan very masipag ang inyong healthcare providers within the community para sa mga ganitong records. So imagine, meron na tayong general fertility rate, may birth rate, meron pang crude birth rate. Diba? This is the death trends. So, mortality rate. Okay, mortality rate. So, data related to analysis of the death trends. So, ayan si crude death rate. So, hindi lang pala kailangan na makuha mo yung data ng namatay na tao sa community, but kailangan mo rin kunin ng age. So, age, the sex, and the cause of the death. So, diba? So, mortality rate, this includes the crude death rate, age-specific death rate, the sex-specific death rate, and the cause, okay, of the specific death rate. So, for the mortality rate, mortality rate, this is the data related to analysis of death trends, which includes, infant mortality rate, okay, maternal mortality rate, so fetal death rate, and then neonatal death rate. So, what's the difference? Okay, what's the different class ng ating fetal death rate sa neonatal death? Neonatal death. So, anybody na may idea what's the difference between the fetal death and the neonatal death? Pag sinabing fetal death, so anong age? Anong age mako-consider natin na fetal death 'yon? And anong age mako-consider natin na neonatal death 'yon? Yes or
Good afternoon po, ma'am. So, the difference between fatal death rate and neonatal death rate is that ang fatal death rate po, ma'am, is yung mga tao na nasa sinapupunan pa ng mama niya. So, which means like yung mga fetus po, ma'am, yun yung mga fetal death rate. While ang neonatal death rate is that ito yung mga infant, ma'am, na namatay between the first 28 days of life po, ma'am. So, basically, hindi pa sila nakaabot ng 1 month old or 2 months old po, ma'am. So that is neonatal death rate po.
Yes, so if we say fetal death, that is 1 year of age. Okay, that's in between namatay. So 1 year of age, while ang ating neonatal death is first 28 days of life. Okay, that's the first 28 days of life. So, yun. Fetal and the difference between fetal and the neonatal death rate. So, morbidity rates. This is data describing the extent and the distribution of illness. So, this includes your incidence rate, the prevalence rate, the case fatality rate, and the attack rate. So, registry of vital events. Okay, so certificate of life, this includes your certificate of life birth or your birth certificate. Okay, birth certificate. So, this is signed by the birth attendant, okay, or the midwife, nurse, or doctor, or even student nurse. Okay, so this must be filed within 30 days. Okay, so ang ating live birth, this must be filed within 30 days. So that certificate, this is signed by the physician only. Okay? So this is signed by the physician. Okay? Siya yung pipirma lang sa ating death certificate. Mayor if no physician, but should not sign the cause of death. Okay? So si doctor lang ang may karapatang pumirma ng ating death certificate. Okay? So this is filed within 48 hours from the death. Okay? So stillbirth under death certificate, so declared as born dead and must be buried, not the birth certificate. So pag namatay si baby na pinanganak, so ang i-issue sa kanya is death certificate, okay, hindi birth certificate. So abortion, it depends on the parents' decision, okay. If we say stillbirth, ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng ating stillbirth? Okay, this is the death or loss of a baby before or during delivery. Okay, before pa naianak si baby, okay, patay na siya. So that's a stillbirth. Next is epidemiology. So epidemiology, this is the study of factors that affect the health and the cause diseases in the population. So this is a branch of medicine which deals with the incidence, the distribution, and the possible control of diseases and other factors related to health. So this is the backbone of disease prevention. Systematic study, yun nga, ng distribution patterns. Okay, determinants of health, the diseases, so the conditions in the population for the purpose of promoting wellness and preventing diseases or disease-causing condition. Epidemiology, the objective is to provide effective solution for controlling diseases and preventive measures to populations that are at risk. So the multiple causation theory, okay? So what is the cause? Okay? What is the cause and what is the effect? So for the web of causation, so ayun, may age. Okay, so ano yung age? So overweight ba siya sa age niya? Okay, alcoholic ba siya sa age niya? Smoker na ba siya at ayang age? So ayan, nagko-connect na lahat. So, for overweight ba siya? Okay. So nagko-connect na siya. So ischemic heart disease. So this is the ecological triad. So agent, okay? Pwedeng bacteria or ano yung cause ng disease. It can be bacteria. It can be, for the agent, it can be the bacteria, viruses. It can be a fungi or amoeba. If you say naman host, okay? This can be due to the genetic makeup or namamana. Okay, the age, the sex, okay, the health behavior or yung lifestyle, okay, and immunity. So if we say environment, that includes the sanitation, the water, the air, okay, the noise, and the custom. So, yan na nga yung triad natin, okay? It's the agent, okay, the host, and the environment. So, okay, so the ecological triad, okay, it represents, okay, the interaction between these three elements, okay, involved in a disease. So it answered the three question: what, okay, what, who, and where, okay? Sino, saan, okay, at papaano, what, ano, okay, sino at saan. Okay, so who can give me an example nitong ating ecological triad. Example. Sige. It answers the question what, who, and where. So example, who can give me an example nitong ating ecological triad? Si Earl na lang lagi. Okay, Earl, mamaya ka na. Give chance to others. Yung iba, natulog na. Yung iba, natulog na. Iba naman, kayo na lang lagi. Si Luis, si Jinley, si Earl, si Kaylee. Tapos yung iba naman. Let's give chance to others. Yung iba. Ako ba ang tatawag? Who would like to answer? Natulog na ang iba. Kailangan nating matapos ito kasi wala tayong pasok last time. So, sorry for that. Kasi last time merong seminar workshop. Bigla ang seminar workshop, kaya hindi rin tayo nakaklase. So, anybody? Gising-gising? Yes, Angela. Angela May. Angela.
Ang example po sa ecological triad.
Yes, example of your agent, the
Kung paano
host, and
po-
environment. So, paano sila nagko-connect?
So, one example po is yung sa dengue po. So, ang agent po is the dengue virus. Tapos yung host po is yung human. And then, yung yung contaminated area or yung environment po is the water po. So, nagko-connect po sila kasi if ma-expose yung tao doon sa environment, which is the contaminated water, may possibility po na makuha niya yung agent, which is the dengue virus po. And makuha niya po yung sakit po.
Yes. Tama ang example. Anybody? Sino pa would like to? Same hand. Iba naman. Earl, Luis, iba naman. Let's give chance. Rubilin.
Ma'am, one of the example po is yung sa agent po, ma'am, is yung entamoeba histolytica po.
Yes.
Yung ang host po is yung mga humans po, especially for those mga kids po. The environment po, ma'am, could be those places po na usually marumi po yung or not so safe po yung water nila, which is contaminated, yung ginadrink po nila. And for those po na mga pagkain namin, marumi po.
Yes. So, isa rin yung example ng ating ecological triad. Yes, Josh. Then next si Zachary. So, last two. Yes, Josh.
Yes po, ma'am. An example, I think, is about this, ma'am, also is about COVID-19 din po. COVID-19, the agent or the what of the triangle, being the coronavirus, the host, which is possible human, it may be us, anyone, and environment, it's possible that we might acquire this type of disease in populated areas po, ma'am. Or yes, like that po, ma'am.
Yes. That's another example. Lastly, yes, si Zachary.
Yes, ma'am. The agent for me probably is the Leptospirosa interrogans, or a bacteria that was caused by leptospirosis. Then the host will be, of course, the human. Then under the environment will be yung mga lagi pong binabaha na places. Then yeah, yung human po na may wounds probably could get that kind of bacteria from sa paglusong sa mga baha, ma'am.
Yes, so that's another good example ng ating ecological triad. Okay, so malaria, example, malaria, okay. Malaria is a parasitic disease caused by protozoa belonging to genus Plasmodium. Okay, so yun yung agent natin. Okay, the Plasmodium. Okay, that is transmitted through the bites of our mosquito. Okay, the female mosquito, and it can only affect the humans, which are magsisilbing ating host. So, yun yung ating ecological triad. So, ayan. So, the host, the environment, the pathogen. Okay. So, the host, increase host defense. So, nutrients that strengthen the immune system. Okay, compounds that stimulate. For the pathogen, the larvae, the water, the feed, the farm tools, the people. So, you should maintain good water quality. Okay, balance microbial population. Anticipate and be prepared for the sudden changes, okay, sa ating environment. So, the nature of epidemiologic approaches. So, the goal of the epidemiology is to study the frequency or occurrence of health-related events, majority to the causes and the determinants of the disease patterns in the population. This is the systemic investigation can identify the causal and the preventive factors. Okay, and observational science. So, epidemiologic classification can be descriptive and it can also be analytical. So if we say descriptive, this attempts to describe the patterns, okay, through tabulation or summaries of polls or surveys. So this is the attempt to describe the patterns of diseases according to spatial and the temporal information about the members of a population. So if we say naman analytical, this attempts to explain and predict the state of a population health. Okay, the goal is to summarize the relationship between the exposure and disease incidence by comparing these two measures of disease frequency. Okay, so descriptive epidemiology versus our analytical epidemiology. So for our descriptive epidemiology, the area of epidemiology focuses on describing the disease, okay, distribution by characteristics relating to time, place, and people, while our analytical epidemiology, this is the area of epidemiology which measures the association between a particular exposure and a disease, okay, using the information collected from the individuals rather than the aggregate population. So, yan yung differences between the two. Okay. So, our descriptive epidemiology, this is used to estimate the number of people affected by a given disease or relevant health characteristics. So this includes mga symptoms and signs and symptoms. Okay. So what are the main differences between these two, between the descriptive and our analytical epidemiology? Okay, so our descriptive, okay, the main difference is that our descriptive It generates hypothesis on risk factors and cause of our diseases. So, hypothesis on risk factor ang ating descriptive, whereas ang ating analytical epidemiology, test hypothesis by assessing the determinants of diseases, okay, focusing on the risk factors and the causes as well as analyzing the distribution of exposures and the diseases. So, furthermore, okay, our descriptive epidemiology is a small and less complex study area. Okay. Maliit lang siya at less complex, while ang analytical natin is larger and more complex study area. So the approaches to epidemiology is used to analyze and determine the factors that affects rate of a particular disease. So number one is the case control studies. So for the case control study, individuals with and without the disease of interest are recruited from the same population and their prior histories of exposure to potential causative and protective factors are compared. Okay, so relatively short term lang, from 2 to 5 years, and this is less expensive. While our cohort study, this population with known levels of exposure to potential causative and protective factors is recruited and followed over time to determine who gets and who does not get the disease of interest. So this is relatively long term, from 5 to 20 years. And of course, this is more expensive. So for the patterns of the disease occurrence, okay, we have the sporadic, endemic, epidemic, and pandemic. So what are the differences between these four? If we say sporadic, this is intermittent occurrence or on and off presence ng disease. Okay, on and off presence ng disease within the community. Okay, so what are the examples of sporadic? Okay, this is on and off presence ng disease within the community. So who can give me an example ng ating sporadic disease? Okay, from the definition itself, it's the on and off presence. So sa community nyo, ano-anong mga diseases ang minsan naririnig nyo, minsan wala? Yes, John Martin.
Chickenpox po, ma'am.
Chickenpox is an example. So yes, true, minsan merong chickenpox. Yes, chickenpox is an example of sporadic. Ano pa ang example? Yes, Cristel.
Rabies po, ma'am.
Rabies. Paano mo nasabing rabies? Research ko, ma'am, rabies daw. Bakit, Cristel? Bakit mo nasabing rabies? This is the on and off presence ng disease. Rabies, ano? Bakit rabies, Cristel? Cristel, natulog ka na, Cristel? So sa community nyo ba? Okay, on-off ba ang nagkakaroon ng rabies or nakakagat
Yes,
ng
ma'am. Kay every time na makagat ka ng dog, ma-infect ka din po kahit na nakaano ka na ng Magbalik siya if ever nakagat ka ulit, ma'am.
Magbalik siya if ever makagat ka ulit. No, this is the presence within the community. Presence ng disease within your community, hindi sa inyong system. Okay, hindi sa ating system. Sa community class, we are talking about the patterns of disease occurrence within your community. Okay, our COVID-19 is an example of pandemic disease. Okay, so we are talking now is sporadic disease. Kasi sabi nga, this is the on and off presence of the disease sa community. So yun nga example is yung ano yung binigay ni John chickenpox. Okay, chickenpox. Kasi minsan meron na sa community, merong nagkakaroon ng chickenpox, minsan wala din. So that's an example of your sporadic disease. So next is our endemic. Okay, if we say endemic, this is the continuous or constant occurrence of a disease in a certain area. Diba? Kung si sporadic, on and off, si endemic naman sa community, this is the continuous or constant occurrence ng disease. So, can give me an example of endemic disease? Yes, Mariel.
Malaria, ma'am.
Malaria. So, paano mo nasabing malaria?
Ay, since ang endemic is continuous, ma'am, for example, kung nag-rain po, ma'am, kung continue po ang bagyo, ma'am, so nag-continue din po ang mga tao or especially sa mga bata na magkaroon ng malaria disease.
Pag nagabagyo, continuous din ang pagkakaroon ng malaria. Anybody? Yes, malaria is an example. Malaria is an example. Iba pa? Yes, another example. You can give me another example. Malaria is an example kasi nga, 'di ba? It is transmitted through bite ng mosquito. Okay? So pag na-bite, if you are infected with malaria, nakagat ka ng lamok, it can also infect iba. Kaya it's a continuous or constant occurrence. Okay? So kaya siya isang example ng ating endemic disease. So ano pa? Yan. So next is epidemic. If we say epidemic, this is the sudden increase in the number of cases in short period of time. Okay, so epidemic, sudden increase in the number of cases in the short period of time. So example ng ating epidemic. Okay, short period of time lang, sudden increase. Okay, pagtaas in a short period of time. Example. Sige, i-research nyo. Ayoko na kay Luis at kay Earl. Nagsawa na ako sa kanila. Okay, I'll give chance to Miko. Alam mo na ba ang tanong?
Yes, ma'am. Polio po.
Anong tanong, Miko?
Example sang epidemic na sakit.
Okay, very good. So, example ng ating epidemic na sakit is polio. Yes, polio. So, pandemic. This is the worldwide epidemic or global outbreak. So, what is example ng ating pandemic na very, very current lang or until very current na sakit? This is worldwide. Yes, Aliesa.
Yung current po na hinaharap po ng ating bansa is yung COVID po. It is
Yes.
considered pandemic since worldwide po buong mundo po is naapektuhan po ng COVID-19.
Yes, a very good example of pandemic is ang ating kasalukuyang sakit, the COVID-19, which is a global outbreak. Yes, so tandaan nyo ang differences ng apat. Okay, the sporadic, endemic, epidemic, and pandemic. So, as you can see, endemic, constantly present in a certain population. Epidemic, may sudden increase. Okay, so a pandemic, so it's a global outbreak or worldwide. So this are the epidemiologic processes. Okay, so number one, we have to determine the nature, the extent, and the scope of the problem. So para lang kayong nagre-research. Okay, may research. Kailangan ng scope of the problem. Okay, may scope of the problem. So establishing the epidemic, the present prevalence of the disease, and the incidence of the disease. So appraisal of the facts. So this involves studying the characteristics of the epidemic in terms of distribution patterns involving the person, the demographic data, the place, the time, and the onset of the outbreak. Okay, second is kailangan mag-formulate ng hypothesis. So this collect and analyze data to test your hypothesis. So parang research talaga siya. So testing the hypothesis, conducting a diagnostic exam to prove the source of the disease. Okay, making conclusion and recommendation. So emphasizing the significant results of the investigation. And plan for control of spread of the disease by suggesting what can be done to stop the epidemic, and of course implement the control program, evaluate the control program, and make appropriate report as basis for the diagnostic purposes, preventive or preemptive action to prevent the reoccurrence of the same disease or condition, and research activities. So, example is this about COVID-19 epidemiology. So, ayan. So, investigating COVID-19, the science behind the CDC response. Okay, so this was updated July 1, 2020. So, ayan. Identify the source of the outbreak, monitor and track the disease. Okay, study the disease, develop guidance for action to slow the spread of the disease. So next Saturday, this will be your activity, okay, for your lab. So magbibigay ako ng activity nyo for your next lab meeting. Okay, so agriculture and health. So population health is strongly influenced by the society and the environment. So agriculture is one of the social and environmental determinant of our health. So agriculture is essential for good health. It produces the world's food, okay, fiber and materials for shelter, and can produce medicinal plants. It is also an important source of livelihood for many of the poor and in developing countries. So agriculture can also lead to poor health. Okay? So malnutrition. Okay, malnutrition. Okay? Kasi sa agriculture tayo kumukuha ng ating food. Okay, main source ng food natin dito is agriculture. Okay, so pag wala, mayroong malnutrition, infectious diseases, and chronic diseases. Okay, so the importance of examining agriculture presents not only opportunities for improving health, but also risk to health. Okay, so our agriculture influences health, and health influences agriculture. So what do you mean by this? Okay, agriculture influences health, and health influences agriculture. So, merong bidirectional relationship between ng ating agriculture and health. So, anybody? Agriculture influences health, and health influences agriculture. Yes, Rian.
Ang pagkaintindi ko po, ma'am, kasi 'di ba agriculture or farming po is one of our major source of food po. So if hindi po maayos yung pagpa-plant and if madami pong chemical, so magiging unhealthy po yung mga pagkain na kinakain natin. And if unhealthy po tayo and like madami po tayong chemical na kinakain na hindi po tayo, like yung body po natin is not strong enough po na makapag-farm ng mga pagkain.
Yes, true. That's true. Anybody? Agriculture influences health, and health influences the agriculture. Sino pa gustong mag-share ng thought niya with regards to that? Agriculture influences health. I'm giving chance sa lahat. Okay? Iba naman, iba. Sawa na ako sa inyo. Luis, Kaylee. Yung iba, ano yung iba? Tulog na? Tulog na ang iba? Yung iba, sige tawag ako ha. Nasaan si Nikos? Bakit hindi kita naririnig, Nikos? Nikos, where are you? Andyan ba si... Bakit silent type ka ngayon?
Problemado. Ay, joke lang.
Kakatapos lang ng Valentine's.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hello po.
Yes.
Agriculture influences health, ma'am, just like Rian said. For example, ma'am, if maganda yung production ng natin sa agriculture na side, ibig sabihin na-i-influensyahan niya yung health natin in a way na mas nagkakaroon tayo or mas maganda yung mga food or yung mga kinakain natin, ma'am. That's for me, relationship between agriculture and health po.
Yes, that's true. So, sino pa? Isa na lang. Agriculture influences health, and health influences agriculture. Yung pang Miss Universe na answer. Gusto kong marinig si si Neil John. Saan ka, Neil John?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon. So, gusto ko pang Mr. Universe na answer, Neil John. Okay, what can you say about agriculture influences health and health influences agriculture?
Agriculture influences health po, ma'am, through food supply po, ma'am. To balance the undernutrition in our country, stabilize the food supply among local governments po, and to provide
Sige, basahin mo ng diretso, Neil. Basahin mo ng diretso.
Wait lang, ma'am, may gagawin sa akin.
Basahan na lang diretso, Neil.
Ano to, ma'am? Undernutrition, chronic diseases, ma'am. Infectious diseases po na na ano ng mga food supply po.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Neil. Thank you. So, yun. So, it linked to malnutrition. Okay? Pag wala tayong supply from our main source of food, agriculture, okay, it can lead to malnutrition. So, pag malnourished ka, okay, it can compromise your immune system. That can result to iba-ibang sakit, okay? Infectious diseases. Okay, it can lead to chronic diseases. So that's the relationship between agriculture and health. Okay, so in agriculture communities, poor health reduces income and productivity, further decreasing people's ability to address poor health and inhibiting economic development in more broadly, while in the population at large, malnutrition and disease patterns influence the market demand for our agriculture products. So yun nga ang sabi nyo kanina. So this is a framework that links between the agriculture and health. Okay, so agricultural producers. So that's our farmers. Okay, that's our farmers. So the labor process, okay, nagkakaroon din siya ng health risk. Okay, so agricultural system, the types, okay, the practices, the technologies being used, the location, okay, and the ownership, okay. Environmental change. This includes your water, the air, and the soil. So, income generation, okay. So, nito, agriculture supply chain, okay, the intermediary processes, and ang health outcome. So, water, okay, sa environment change, no, there are water-associated, okay, vector-borne disease. Okay, so undernutrition, that leads to chronic diseases, okay? So, foodborne illnesses, access to food, water and land, and health related services. So, konti na lang class, konti. Kailangan nating tapusin. Okay, so the links on agricultural producers. So, link via income. Okay, the link via income. So farmers and workers earn income from agriculture. This is the ability to purchase and gain access to food, okay, water, land, and health-related services. So this determines their overall health status. So next is via labor. Okay, so labor affects the energy, expenditure, and time available for childcare and food preparation. Kasi nga kailangan magtrabaho, okay? So nalilesen. Okay? Nalilesen na yung time available for childcare and food preparation that leads to malnourished children. Nagkakaroon sila ng mga malnourished children. Okay? Farming exposes producers, okay, to a range of occupational health hazards. Okay? Yung mga chemicals na ginagamit ng ating mga farmers. Okay? Exposes producers. Yun yung mga occupational health hazards. Amount and type of agriculture employment. Okay, migration and search for alternative income sources. Okay, so kailangan nilang maghanap ng ibang magpagkukunan ng kapital. So this can lead to a spread and exposure, okay, sa other diseases. So link is via access to health-related services and food, malnutrition, and poor health, okay, affecting their capacity to work and generate food and income that leads to malnutrition and Poor health. Another is via environmental change. Okay, livestock productions. Okay, animals are associated with different zoonoses. Okay, example of this is working with dairy cows and sheep. Okay, risk factor naman siya ng brucellosis. Okay, yun naman ang um, effect sa ating mga farmers working with cows and sheep. Yes. So, no. Health agriculture system. So, poor health. Yes, no. So, poor health reduces the ability of producers to innovate, invest in, and operationalize changes in agricultural systems, so including changes that promotes our health. So, the major output. So, unsafe, food contaminated during agricultural production. Okay, it can carry foodborne illnesses and it affects your nutrition. So example of this is pathogen on raw fruits and vegetables may result of irrigation with inadequate treated wastewater, and toxins may be present in our crops. So poor source of water, okay? Untreated water. Okay, nagkakaroon yung ng pathogens ang fruits and vegetables na nakaka-cause ng diseases. So in the other direction, health affects people's abilities, needs, and desires to consume different amount and types of food, which in turn affects the demand, okay, from agricultural system and the type of product. So yes, this is very, very true, okay? Kaya nga tinawag na merong bidirectional relationship ang agriculture at ang ating health. So these are the examples. Okay, these are examples na ating agriculture and health. So next naman is technology and health. Okay, so technology. Yan na. Technology and health. So technological development changes, okay, our healthcare dramatically. So if we say that it's for it's for good ba or bad? Technological developments changes healthcare dramatically. Okay, malaki ang malaki ang naging effect na ating technology development. At class, it's for kinaganda ba o ikinasama? Yes, Luis.
So good afternoon, ma'am. I believe that engaging ourselves in technology entails two sides of a coin. It can either make us or break us. I believe that technological advancement changes healthcare dramatically, positively po, ma'am. In a way that it is really evident, diba, ma'am, sa today's society that because of technology, we are now engaged on different huge amounts of information, and also the technological advancement help the people, most especially in the healthcare professionals, to assess or to see patients health po easier po, and to identify the diseases that we are encountering. So I believe that also at some point there are drawbacks of the technological advancement that we are having today, but I know that the positive effect outweighs the negative of the technological advancement today po, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Luis. So Sa iba? Yes, ang iba. Ano, what can you say? Okay, maganda ba ang naitulong ng ating technology development sa ating healthcare? Anybody? Anybody? Positive ba o negative ang effect ng mga advancement natin sa technology? Especially sa sino ka? Wait for. Yes.
Ako po, Ma'am De La Cruz po.
Yes. Angel.
Hello po, Ma'am. For me po, maganda po ang naitulong ng technological development po sa healthcare natin kasi mas napa-better po yung diagnosis and treatment sa mga sakit po, and also mas napa-improve po yung health system po natin, Ma'am.
Yes, so thank you, Angel. So totoo yun, okay? Especially sa ating mga medical workers, sa ating medtechs, mas napapadali. Okay, mas napapadali ang trabaho natin sa laboratory. Therefore, mas napapadali ang pagbigay natin ng results sa mga doctors. So, mas madali ang pag-diagnose nila o pagbigay nila ng gamot sa ating mga patient. So, new drugs and treatments, so new devices, new equipment, machine, new social media support for healthcare and etc. So, maganda. For me, maganda ang naging effect nitong technological development, okay, especially sa ating mga healthcare providers. Okay, so, with regards sa medical technologies, automated na. Okay? Automated na ang mga machine. So, napapadali na lahat. Napapadali na ang lahat. Napapadali ang trabaho, napapadali ang pag-release natin ng results. Okay? So, example for this. Okay? So, sa first picture, ano yan? Sa first picture. Yan, sleep na yan. Sleep na. Sige na. Sleep na. Sige na dun. Get your pillow. Sige na, get your pillow. Where's your lily? Sa baba. No, lamig sa baba. Yung sa first picture, ano yan? Yes, Jinli.
Device po siya na ginagamit sa dialysis or sa blood transfusion.
Hindi. Sinong may idea? Sinong may idea? Yes, a blood transfusion kasi blood bag. So, it's for blood transfusion, pero specifically, yung process, yung device, yung machine na gamit. Sinong ang may idea? Yes, Earl.
Excuse me po, ma'am, napindot lang po.
Okay. So, walang may idea what is this sa first picture. Okay, so that is if you could remember sa ating yung blood mass donation, 'di ba? Doon sa mga nag-donate. So as you can see, may nakikita kayong more or less 2 to 3 bags na attached doon sa main bag. So itong machine na ito, okay, siya ang nagse-separate, okay? Nagse-separate ng ating plasma from your red blood cells. So yan, pinupul pataas. Ano ba? Sinihila, pinupul pataas. So as you can see, mayroong tube. So your plasma, matatransfer siya to the next bag. Ang maiiwan na lang is your red blood cell. So separator siya. It's a blood separator, blood component separator. Okay, it's a blood component separator. So maiiwan sa red blood cells. So si plasma malilipat sa ibang ibang bag. So, si red blood cells nyo, may specific sakit siya. Okay? Or may specific patient siya na pupuntahan. Si plasma nyo, magagamit din yun din siya sa ibang patient. Okay? So, yung sa second picture, sinong may idea sa ating second picture? Yes, Feby.
Sa second picture, ma'am, I think the same lang po siya. Nag-separate din siya ng plasma pero in this case po, automatic na po siya or electronic. Sa first picture kasi manual siya, ma'am.
Yes. So, automation na siya and yung machine na ginagamit dyan is apheresis. So, apheresis. So, automatic, okay, pag nagdo-donate kayo ng dugo, automatic, yung red blood cells or yung cells na nakukuha, okay, doon sa inyo, pumupunta siya doon sa machine. So, sa machine, nasa-separate na. Okay, nasa-separate na ang plasma, your plasma and your platelet and the red blood cells. So, automatic, na-separate na ng machine. Okay? So, pupunta si red blood cells nyo sa bag number 1, for example. Si platelet for your blood number 2 and your plasma. Okay? And your plasma bag number 3. So, usually, this is makikita niyo ito sa mga malalaking hospitals, mga blood centers. Okay, so nasa-separate na. So mas napapadali na talaga, okay, through this technology improvement, mas napapadali na ang ating buhay. So mas and also mas kasi mahirap ang process ng separation, okay, ng mga blood components. So with the use of this machine, okay, ready na lahat. Okay, hindi na natin kailangang magsayang pa ng oras. So, pag may nangangailangan, bibigyan agad. So, ayan, mabibigyan agad. So, malaki ang tulong ng technology sa atin sa health service. Okay, so social media, patient power, mobile health and education, okay, stopping people going to hospital and empowering people to care for themselves and their family. So social media, okay, lahat ngayon nasa internet na. So pag may nararamdaman, research nasa internet na din lahat. Okay, so healthcare sensors can be readily bought off the internet, and it is easy for technically minded people today to build sophisticated equipment to collect and analyze any personal or clinical data using their own computers. So, ayan. So, konti na lang class, konti. We will finish before 4. So, life expectancy versus lifespan. So, if we say life expectancy, this refers to the number of years a person is expected to live based on statistical average. Okay? So, statistical average is calculated based on a population overall, including those who die shortly during childbirth, shortly after childbirth, during adolescence or adulthood, and those who die in war, and those who live well into old age. Okay, so life expectancy, this is influenced by factors such as the gender, the race, exposure to population, educational status, the race, the income level, and healthcare access. So this is influenced by modifiable lifestyle factors such as exercise, alcohol status, smoking status, and diet. So therefore, life expectancy is highly variable from one individual to another. So ang life expectancy daw is nakadepende sa ating tao, sa lifestyle natin. Kung gusto pa nating mabuhay ng matagal, so magiging conscious tayo sa ating kinakain. Okay, so mag-exercise. So ang life expectancy, this is malaking factor. Okay, malaking factor ang ating diet and exercise. Gaya ng sabi ko. Nakadepende yun sa atin. While lifespan, this refers to the maximum number of years that a person can potentially expect to live based on the greatest number of years anyone, okay, from the same data set has lived. So example, the oldest documented age reached by any living individual is 122 years. So meron pa kaya niyan ngayon. So meaning humans are said to have a lifespan of 122 years. Okay, so life expectancy versus lifespan. Okay, this is two distinctly different things. Okay, this is magkaiba sila. Okay, so life expectancy refers to the number of years person is expected to live. Okay, so yun. Ang life expectancy is nakadepende sa atin. So, life expectancy versus lifespan. So, people will only have one lifespan, while life expectancy changes as you grow older. Okay, and as you face different risks. So, many infants and young child in America used to die due to infection. So, high infant and child mortality kept life expectancy, which is usually expressed, okay, as life expectancy from birth. Okay, so life expectancy for a female born in 1990 was about 40 years old, but she reached age 20. Her life expectancy was over 60, and the age of 40, her life expectancy was nearly 70. So we can calculate an average lifespan of people in a group if we have the birth and the death dates for its member, okay, sa community. So, yun yung ating life expectancy versus lifespan. So, sa Philippines, life expectancy daw is 71 noong 2018. So, ewan ko na lang ngayon. So, ayan, 60. 60 daw. O, pataas ng pataas. Akala ko pababa ng pababa tayo ngayon. So, as you can see, sa ngayong generation, ang mga stroke patient, pabata na ng pabata. Dati, nagsustroke lang is mga matatanda, okay? Mga senior citizen. Pero ngayon, may nasustroke na 25 years old. So, imagine, it depends. It depends on your it depends on your lifestyle din. So, ayan. Sa countries in Asia, ranking by life expectancy. So, malayo na sa Philippines. So, number 1 is our Hong Kong, which is true. Okay? Sa Hong Kong, makikita mo ang nagsiserve sa mga resto, mga matatanda, mga senior citizen. Okay? Malalakas, mabibilis maglakad ang mga tao sa Hong Kong. So, si Hong Kong ang number 1. Si Macau, yes. Ang kapitbahay lang din ni Hong Kong. And si Japan, yes, it's true din. Sa Japan, makikita mo mga tao, kahit matanda, kahit maputing-maputi ng buhok, you can see in Japan, napakabilis maglakad. Napakabilis maglakad ng mga tao sa Japan. Singapore din, yes. So, ayan. So, malayo si Philippines. Malayo na si Philippines. Okay, class. So, that's for today's video. So, that's our lecture for today. So, we will meet face-to-face on Tuesday, tama?
Yes po, ma'am.
So, we will meet on Tuesday. We will have a quiz tayo sa Tuesday with regards sa na-discuss today. Okay? Tapos, mag-activity tayo sa Saturday. May activity kayo na ibibigay ko before Saturday. Reporting tayo on Saturday. Quiz on Tuesday, ha? Face-to-face kayo, di ba?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, so thank you, class, and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you,
Thank you po,
ma'am.
ma'am. Enjoy din po.
ma'am.
Thank you po, Ma'am Che.
Thank you, ma'am.
Po, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.